Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Duplex Build to Rent. My name is Juan Cristales, and I'm a full-time real estate investor here in the Texas market. I've done over 200 deals, and man, I'm telling you that I wish I would have started in new construction many, many years ago. And I'm going to try to explain to you why here in this quick class. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so the very first pressing question that I always get is like, man, how did this whole thing even start? How was this whole thing even born? So let me explain something to you here. When I first started real estate investing, man, this is the kind of stuff that I was doing. I thought that the fix and flip game was where I needed to be. And so I was buying what I've been taught, which is buying busted houses. So look at this. I was buying houses with severe foundation problems. I was buying houses that, look at this, had graffiti on the inside instead of the outside, inside the bedrooms. I was buying houses that, man, I thought, man, maybe I can save those cabinets until we start doing the demo and realize that the entire kitchen is going to need to be gutted. I was doing houses where I was finding dead animals. This is a dead rat right here that had decomposed inside the house. Crazy. I bought this house as well. All these houses I bought, okay? I'm not telling you houses I went to go look at and didn't actually buy. I actually committed to buying these houses. What you're looking at here on the right-hand side is an entire bee colony. I didn't realize, I didn't know that was there until we started working on the house. And then once we open it up, now I have to deal with this. I had to call a company. I had to call a company to charge me money to come take out the bee colony so that they could do something with it. Bananas, right? Absolutely insane. But that's the kind of stuff that I thought I was supposed to be doing. So look, we've all been taught the same thing, right? Buy busted houses. They're going to have some built-in equity because you're getting them so cheap, and then try to turn those into rentals, right? And listen, there is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have been the beneficiary of a lot of that stuff in my life. So I'm not knocking it. The problem is that it doesn't work right now. But so let me explain to you one of the reasons why it's not working right now. And one of the biggest reasons it's not working right now is because of the interest rates. Okay. And we've been dealing with this whole interest rate for about a year now. Okay. Maybe longer. It looks like 2 years here. So check this out. In December 2020, when I first started doing new construction, or a little bit before then, but that time period was still good. Mortgage rates were at 2.86, man. Absolutely insane, right? Everybody wishes we could go back to that time. By December of 2021, exactly 1 year later, we are now at 3.27. Still not bad. By October of 2022, we were like at 7.16. That's at 3 times basically almost from December of 2020. By October of 2023, we were at 7.9. The market was rough. And now in August of 2025, we're actually in October, we're hovering around a 6.67, 6.5, something like that. So October of 2025, we're still in the sixes. Now, see, the single family rental game right now does not work. And it's not you. I mean, let me tell you something. Let me take that back. It works if you can buy a house like super, super, super cheap. Okay. I'm talking like pennies on the dollar. Then, of course, it works. But the challenge is that in the real estate market that exists right now, we have a lot of sellers who think it's like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and they want top dollar for their properties. It's very, very hard to negotiate those prices. But listen, I want you to understand something. It's not you, it's the method that's broken. So let me show you a different way. So I want you guys to stay all the way to the very end. If you do, you're going to learn some stuff. I'm going to explain to you why I went all in on ground up duplexes. Several years ago, I started doing this. And this is why you can't afford to miss out on this small builder opportunity. I call it a small builder boom that we're having right now. It really genuinely is a boom of small builders that are going to be able to benefit from this here in the next few years. If you want to add more rentals to your portfolio, you're in the right place. So stay to the end. I'm going to show you how you can leverage proven duplex plans to increase the number of doors faster and significantly increase your cash on cash return. And I'm going to explain to you guys what the single most important key to a highly cost-efficient duplex really is. So I want to give you guys a free copy of my ebook that I put together. This is from my personal experience. This is not theory. I've actually done this. So I'm going to outline the entire duplex built to rent blueprint for you guys, going through the framework, and I want to give you guys a free copy of that, okay? So I want to tell you something. If you're in the right place, if you currently already have a rental portfolio, but even if you don't, we're struggling right now to add more doors. That's the goal, I think, of any real estate investor, because we know that wealth comes from just adding doors to your portfolio. That's how you create wealth over time, little by little, right? You keep adding more doors, so on and so forth. You look back and you have a pretty successful career. But the problem right now is that the prices, they're too high. Mortgage rates, they're too high. Taxes and insurance, my goodness, they're absolutely too high. Maybe you have a homeowners association. These deals right now, they're simply not penciling out. So I want you to know that you're in the right place if you've done a fix and flip and your margins are razor thin. Or maybe even worse, instead of taking a loss on a fix and flip, you've decided to just keep it and turn it into a rental. I've made that mistake as well. Listen, not in the too far distant past, I made the humongous mistake. I got into a fix and flip. I was super excited about it. I did all the stuff. 3.5, 4 months go, 5 months, I finally close on it again to sell it. I do the math to try to figure out how much money we're actually going to be making at the closing table. And it turns out that I made $800 total that I had to split with somebody. You know how frustrating that is? That is absolutely frustrating. You think you're going into a deal, it's like, yeah, I got me a good, awesome deal, and it just turns into a freaking nightmare. It turns into a nightmare when you only make $800, and that's a loss if you make $800 over the course of 4.5, 5 months. Listen, you're in the right place if you want to add more rentals to your portfolio, or do some fix and flips, but there's no way to make money after beating out 8 other offers. Look, I just saw a house recently, just came on the market like a day, 2 ago. $68,000. Guaranteed. I was like, whoa. Called the real estate agent. I'm like, hey, I'll go ahead and buy it now. And the lady's like, well, we have to wait on a bunch of more offers, this, that, and the other. And at that point, I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with it. You know why? Because there's going to be some crazy investor that's going to offer $130,000, which is double the asking price, with an after repair value of like $170, and is going to try to convince another investor that he only needs to put in like $5,000 or $10,000 of rehab into this house and make a gigantic profit. The only person that's going to win on that is going to be the seller, but hey, that's just the market. It is what it is. I'm not dogging on them. I'm just saying that at $68,000 it works, but at like 138 it doesn't. Absolutely not. So I'm not trying to beat out a bunch of other investors. After you've paid the contractors, after you paid the title, after you paid the realtors, you paid everybody else, you're the last one to get paid, right? We are the last ones to get paid. So I want you to know that you're in the right place if you're thinking to yourself, man, there has got to be some other way. So I want you to also know you're in the wrong place if you have a victim mentality, okay? You think that things happen to you. I have people that come to me, it's like, hey, Juan, help me with the remodel. You know so much, so on and so forth. I'll pay you for it. And people that have a victim mentality, I just simply cannot help. And I don't want to help. They time suck you, right? They just, they're constantly finding reasons why everything is somebody else's fault except their own. You're in the wrong place if you want something for nothing. Look, you're going to get upset later on. I'm going to give you an opportunity to invest in your education, because really that's what this is. It's education on new construction, something that I didn't have when I first started. It's going to be a serious skill, and it's going to pay you dividends for years and decades to come. Learning the new construction game is going to pay dividends for years and including decades for you, if you really think about it that way. Just this is the beginning of your journey in that. But you're in the wrong place if You want something for nothing. You're also in the wrong place if you're looking for the easy button in life. Spoiler alert, it does not exist except in that commercial. This is definitely not get rich quick. I'm telling you right, guys, right now. If that's something you're looking for, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place. You may as well just shut this video down and go on to the next one. So here's my promise to you guys. By the time I'm done here, I'm going to teach you everything I know about new construction, ground up duplex stuff. Nothing that I'm going to teach you today is going to be theoretical. Absolutely nothing. I'm actually doing it right now. I have done it. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything you're going to learn today has been tested and proven. I can only give you the training and the tools. I can't guarantee you're going to get rich or that you're going to have any results at all. The average person doesn't. Because there's so much knowledge out there right now in the world, right? There's millions and millions and millions and millions of videos on YouTube. There's tons of information out there. And people consume information. The problem that we have right now in today's society, in today's market, is that there is no action that's taken, right? People are just in consume mode all the time, but no one wants to implement. It's the implementation portion of this is what really is important. Now you can go to me or somebody else. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. But at the end of the day, you have to take action. Look, I want you to succeed. Because if you do this one time, I'm telling you, you do one duplex one time, I know you're going to get hooked. Because I'm hooked. It's fun. So, in return, I ask that you keep an open mind about building, even if you've never built anything before. I can explain to you. I want you to take notes so that you can begin implementing what you're learning here today. Lastly, I want you to break out of the mindset that new construction is too complicated. You have to break out of that mindset. Break out of it. Okay? Looking back on all the deals that I've done, and I've done over 200 that were like fix and flips, existing houses that were just busted pieces of garbage. I look back on that now, and I tell you, genuinely, I wish I would have started in new construction just to begin with. Like, I wish I would have just started here. I really, really do. Because I would have such a better understanding of the electrical system, the plumbing system, the air conditioning system. Everything's clean. You're starting out. Like, you have a better understanding of the structural system. You have a better understanding of everything. Whereas before, I was going into fix and flips, having never done a full entire plumbing system. And I'm trying to guess what's behind the wall, trying to figure it out, looking up YouTube videos, trying to figure it out. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Do we have a deal, guys? I hope so. Okay. Now, here's why I'm bold enough to make this claim. If no one was willing to help me, I'm telling you, I went to local builders here in my local community, guys that I know are building new construction at the time when I wanted to first start, right? This is like, 2019, 2020. I'm watching all this new construction going on. I'm like, man, I got to get in. I got to figure out a way to talk to somebody. Somebody's going to help me. And I'm talking, I'm cold calling people, man. I'm legit like picking up the phone and cold calling dudes that I know are already doing new construction here in the local market. And I said, hey, man, teach me. I'm willing to pay you. Just teach me. I will give you money to teach me. They're like, oh, man, we're too busy. We got all this stuff going on. Okay, that's fine. I'll bring the land. You build it for me. I want to be the supervisor so I can see the whole process. And then, we can split the profits somehow. I don't know. They're like, no, I don't know about that. Okay. So let me just work for free as a general contractor for a little bit of time while I can get 10 or so builds under my belt. And then, that way I can learn it. You get a benefit from me. I'm very, very organized. I'm, very detail oriented. I've done all this other real estate, so I have a good sense of a direction. If I have a few questions, I can just call you and ask you, and then we can just build these things up. And they're like, no. No one wanted to help me. It was absolutely insane. Every time I called somebody, people would shut the doors, not return my calls, ignore me, brush me aside. Insane. So listen, if no one was willing to help me and I figured it out, then I'm certain that I can teach it to you guys. I know that I have the heart of a teacher. It's part of who I've always been. That's just how I know myself. That makes me the ideal person to teach you guys. But I want you to be open that this is even possible for you. Okay, check out my IKEA picture here, man. Everybody's been to IKEA, right? Going to IKEA is an entire experience, right? I mean, there's so much stuff in there. You can get lost in there for hours. The first time I went, I was like, they have a restaurant inside of IKEA? It was like the craziest thing, right? Well, it's because like you're in there for so long that you have to take a break to go eat and come back. Anyways, IKEA is cool. I like it. So let's pretend, okay? This is a pretend thing. This is not a real thing. Let's just pretend that IKEA has a competition. And in their competition, they're saying, we have a $1 million prize reward for this competition. And in the competition, we're going to give you a house building kit. Check it out. It looks like this. This is all pretend. It's not real, okay? Let's just pretend that this is actually real. And they're saying, if you can take the kit that we have at IKEA and you can build an entire house in 30 days, you will win a $1 million prize. Now, I don't know how good you guys are at building furniture, but can you imagine putting together an entire house, right? But that's the competition, right? You enter the competition and whoever is able to build it in 30 days wins the $1 million prize. So now, how would you do it? Would you take this lady here who's, an IKEA worker lady who's been doing it for a long, long time, who's already got a lot of experience and shows she can, basically she's a smart, efficient, and quick person to get you to help you do it? Or would you just try to figure it out by yourself? Right? I think it's a self-serving question, but I think it makes my point. So look, building new construction was my number one way to grow a rental portfolio and turn dirt into cash for my business. That was, I'm telling you, it generally legitimately was. But it wasn't new construction itself that made the biggest impact. It was these doggone duplexes, man. Those are the ones that mattered the most. Those are the ones that made the biggest impact. And I didn't even realize it at first. So look, guys, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a veteran. I'm a military guy, and when I'm not helping people build their ground up duplexes, I can probably be found dressing up as Blippi for my kid's birthday, okay? There's my baby boy. He's turning 4 in this picture here, and he wanted a Blippi birthday. He's like, Dad, can you dress up as Blippi? I'm like, yes, of course. It's funny because like we went to this place here. It's like a farm, and like little kids were coming up to me. They're like, "Oh my God, it's actually." I'm like, if you've ever seen Blippi, if you have kids, you'll know who Blippi is. But I'm just saying, it's the funniest thing because like I'm a lot darker skinned than the Blippi that they have on TV. But some of the kids were like, they thought I was actually Blippi. I'm like, yeah, I just been out in the sun. They wanted to take pictures with me. It was funny. It was a good time. Anyway. I got to go through a quick obligatory of who I am, guys. Look, I've done over 200 single family homes that I've flipped. This is some of the crazy stuff that I've done. Black mold, horrible kitchens, crazy flooring. Look at this madness, man. I mean, this is some of the stuff that I've done. I've bought these houses. I've flipped these houses, try to make them nice. We go into these houses and we start ripping up floor, and there's like fantastic, beautiful hardwood floors underneath. And now we got to rip up the linoleum's been like caked on. Like that glue's just caked on so hard. Like it's just, I don't even know how we got that stuff up, but we had to try to get it up because the floors were so nice. Look at this craziness, man. This is the kind of stuff that I was buying. We're taking out sheetrock and we find that there's a door on the other side or a window. I don't even remember what that was. It's crazy. Look at this. Houses that were burned to a crisp. Ugh. I should have been doing new construction anyways. I mean, look at how much work that is, guys. Anyway, look at this. This is insane. Burned down house. You can see the carpet right there. Look. Black mold. I remember this house. There was a leak in the plumbing system behind the wall of the laundry room, and this is like dog bed or something. Oh my God, this house. Look at this. I was fixing and flipping mobile homes. Please don't laugh. Don't judge me. It's the truth. I was flipping mobile homes at one point in my time, trying to make money. All right. Look at this. These people have been smoking inside their mobile home. And when we went to take off the picture frames, these outlines were where the picture frames were. So they were essentially painting the walls with their lungs. Mm. So, listen, guys, I've run small groups of people that wanted to learn how to do fix and flips, how to do that stuff. I've been teaching people how to do new construction. These are some of the duplexes that I've done here recently. This is the 2-story one. This is the single-story one that we keep building right now. This one is a corner lot one. This is a regular standard size one where it's one unit to the right, one unit to the left. And this is what the finished product looks like. These are actual ones that I've personally done myself. Okay, so don't think I'm stealing these pictures off of the internet or something. I've raised over $10 million in private capital for a lot of these projects. I'm getting an award there from that dude. Man, I'm an immigrant kid who decided to join the Marines, and I ended up doing 20 years in the Marine Corps, man, believe it or not. There's me circa 1984 in Houston, Texas. And this is me with my platoon at 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines on the USS Baton in 2006. And then, guys, look, I'm no one special. I'm telling you that right now. And if there's a mistake to be made in real estate investing, I've probably done it. Look at this. This is a burn house. And I'm doing a video, and it should have practically been new construction. That's how crazy it was. So listen, since I had no one I could go to and I decided to venture out alone in 2020, okay, with just a plan and an idea to attempt to build a house from scratch. So in October of 2020, all I had was an idea. So let's flash back real quick to 2020. We just welcomed our 4th son. So there he is. The one that you saw me in the picture is Blippy. I was overworked doing all these fix and flips, not making a whole lot of money. Living in this little house right here. It's a 1,000 square foot house. Still have it as a rental. Nice house. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But like, it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. My goodness, with these 4 boys and 2 adults, crazy, right? I was scrounging for deals in 2020. Screaming receptionist, man. One of my friends, a real estate investor, called me up, man. I was working from home. I still work from home. But the thing is that, like, dude calls me up and my kids, they're screaming in the background. And I'm like, guys, everybody's quiet down. I got to take this phone call. I go to answer the phone call and one of my kids screams at the top of his lungs, ah, like kids tend to do, right? They're children. Can't get mad at them for it. And I'm walking out of the room and the real estate investor guy is calling me Luke Moses. He's like, hey man, everything all right? I'm like, I'm sorry, man. My receptionist is having a bad day today. He thought it was hilarious. He's like, man, I forget you have these small kids. I'm like, yeah, I sure do, man. That's what it's like, right? My dream was to start ground up construction and make a business out of it, but I had 0 experience and I had 0 help. Friends, family, everybody thought I was crazy, right? I remember when I told my wife the big idea, I remember thinking, I'm going to go all in. And I don't care if anyone believes that I can do it. I'm going to try to figure this whole thing out. So I'm going to give you a quick timeline here. So in October of 2020, I started my first ground up construction, single family. Then by June 2021, I sold my first ground up. I made some money. And then by March of 2022, between this time and this time, I had bought some other lots and sold some other stuff. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you the highlights here, right? So this is not the only stuff that I've done. But here in March of 2022, I had bought 6 adjacent lots. I showed you the guys the pictures right by the water. 30-year mortgage rates were at 3.76. Not bad, right? I was going to buy them, build them, sell them, move on, right? That's what I was hoping to do. By November of 22, so March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 8 months later, I'm not done with the projects yet because it's a 6 of them and I'm trying to get this whole thing going. 30-year rates, actually I've already done by then, but 30-year rates at that point are at 7.08. Do you think I could sell a single one of those houses? Absolutely not. By October of 2023, interest rates were at 7.79 for me. I could not get rid of these houses. Brand new, beautiful, waterfront, entry level homes. I could not get rid of them. I had to turn them into rentals. And then I had to tie up a ton of cash just to be able to keep them. But by January of 2025, the 30-year rates were at 6.72, and the only thing that was selling was these duplexes. That's the only thing that was selling. House hacking is a big, big thing now. And I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to go into a rabbit hole here, but people are looking for alternative ways to grow wealth that doesn't involve them just having to buy a single family home. So people are house hacking, right? Living in one side of the duplex and renting out the other one. So as at the time of this recording, guys, I'm breaking ground on 20 doors or 10 sets of duplexes, and I don't plan to stop. It all started with some major trial and error and some single family homes rentals that I could not get rid of. I just couldn't. So these duplex builds that I'm talking about, guys, they are smoother, simpler construction process. You see, before with the fix and flips, there was so much uncertainty. I didn't know what I was going to find behind the walls. I didn't know what else was going to punch my budget in the gut, right? But with these duplexes, the construction costs and the material costs has become pretty consistent. And so I'm able to just be simpler, smoother through the construction process. On these duplexes, there's more income from the same lot. Think about it. It's 2 doors, 1 loan, double the rent. There's more leverage, and definitely there's less risk in these duplexes. And in my opinion, look, guys, this is a scalable system. This is not a one-off project. I am buying more lots so that I can keep building these duplexes. Most importantly, I stopped overpaying for old homes just to keep moving. At one point, I was kind of disillusioned with the entire business. I wanted to just maybe go get a job or something because it was just not working out the way I thought it was going to work out. You know, HGTV does this whole thing. Well, it's not HGTV, but just there's a lot of stuff out there online, right, guys, that like sells you the idea or the dream of like, freedom and all this money and all this other stuff. And it just, when you get into it, it's not always the exact same. And so like I was buying these fix and flips, and I was trying to like get in and try to buy them as cheap as I could, fighting, with other real estate investors for the deals, and it's just not making money. And I was definitely overpaying for old houses just to try to keep moving. I stopped living deal to deal, and I don't feel like I'm scrounging for deals anymore. So let's talk about 3 major mistakes to avoid with your ground up duplex. The first mistake I see people make is that they believe that I can't do this because I've never built anything before. Here's what that belief looks like. Juan, I wouldn't even know where to begin. All right. Do I need to be on site with a hard hat every single day managing the subcontractors? Is that something I need to be doing? This has to be something for only licensed builders and developers. That's the mistake. The reason why people make this mistake is because a lot of real estate education focuses on flipping, focuses on turnkey rentals, not building. And I get it. It's new. It's new for sure. People confuse managing a build with actually doing the build. Listen, I tell people all of the time, I've never laid a piece of tile in my life, and I don't ever plan on doing it. That's not what I want to teach you guys. How to drive nails and do that kind of stuff. That's not what I want you to do. The people make this mistake because the process feels opaque. It feels hazy, risky, and full of unknowns, especially if you've never done it before. And I totally understand that. The cost of the mistake is you stick to overpriced, underperforming rentals that barely cash flow or don't even cash flow at all. You miss out on 6-figure equity plays, okay? Let me emphasize that, 6-figure equity plays if you do it the way I'm trying to teach you guys, because you think you're not qualified. You spend years waiting to feel ready when you could be learning as you go. When you stop making that mistake, you realize building is a team sport. So Here in the States, man, one of the biggest analogies that I can give you is the analogy of American football, right? In American football, you have the head coach, right? He's got the headphones on, he's got the little mouthpiece going, he's got his clipboard, and the head coach, this is what you are as the builder, you're the head coach. The contractors are the team. You have an offense, you have a defense, you have a quarterback, you have a defensive end, you have a wide receiver, you have a defensive back. The contractors are the team. They're specialists, right? You would never put in a quarterback as a linebacker in American football. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You would probably get fired as a head coach if you ever did that. And so you have to take the same idea and the same concept when it comes to new construction. And that was one of the key components. That's a big nugget that I'm giving you guys there, because you see, we can't find jack of all trades in construction, especially for new construction. We don't want that. We need specialists. If we're going to hire a punter, we want a punter to only punt. That punter is only going to be dealing with paint. That's it. I don't want you to do anything else. Just paint, bro. That's it. Sheetrock guys, just the guys who hang the sheetrock, that's all they're going to do. Cabinet guys, flooring guys, same thing. I don't want a flooring guy that can do this and do that. I know that there's a lot of like interchangeable skills, but when you really get into the weeds of new construction, you want specialists, okay? And then the third one here, the permitting office and the inspectors, they're like the referees. They're the referees to make sure that everybody's playing by the rules and everything's going correctly and stuff like that. You see, I used to be afraid of the city inspectors. I didn't like them. I was very intimidated by these guys, mostly because I was working from a perspective of like, they were like the sheriff, right? They were coming, ba, 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 what are you doing in here? Here's my badge, like, but there was a wrong perspective when I realized that those guys are actually the referees. And they're helpful, extremely helpful. When you stop making the mistake, guys, you gain confidence by following a proven system that simplifies every step. You're not starting from true scratch. You go from watching other people build wealth to building it yourself, even if you've never picked up a hammer. This is Richard, man. Richard, earlier this year, he's, said this, man. He's like, I've been in Juan Cristales' school community for 10 months, and I've honestly learned so much, from how to analyze a lot, property, to the whole new construction process from start to finish. His teaching style is as if I were right there with him going through the whole thing. And any questions I have, he's done a phenomenal job at breaking down the answers to a level even a newbie would understand. I purchased a lot and have now split it into two, and I'm excited and confident that I'll be able to build and manage these two projects from all I've learned through Juan's mentorship. I'm not new to real estate, but I'm new to building from the ground up. Juan's mentorship community has been great. Thanks, Richard. Here's mistake number 2, guys. Thinking I don't have time when what you don't have is a system. And here's what it looks like. You avoid the strategy altogether because it sounds like it's just too much. You believe you need to be on site every single day or know how to swing a hammer. So what happens? You end up waiting for a better time, right? That never comes, or worse, settle for another low margin flip or overpay for a turnkey rental just to stay in the game. I've heard it. I got to keep my crews busy, man. The reason people make that mistake is because when you don't have a system, building does feel overwhelming. People imagine like managing trades and juggling permits and sourcing materials and handling inspections and fielding chaos all on their own. No wonder it feels impossible. The cost of that mistake is, yes, you're missing out on high margin, long-term assets that work if you keep or decide to sell. You stay stuck in the feast or famine and grind of flipping or wholesaling. I don't know how those guys do it. I tried it many, many years ago. You watch others with fewer resources get further ahead just because they had a better system. And in short, we sacrifice future freedom because today feels too full. And that's what we don't want to do. When you stop making the mistake, guys, we're not relying on chaos or guesswork. everything's new. It makes it so much easier. You don't have to micromanage because the process does the heavy lifting. You can manage the build in a few focused hours per week. You can more predictably tell how much time it will take and how much it will cost you to build. I took my family to California recently this summer. From the beginning, we went for 3 weeks, from the beginning of June till like whatever the end of 3 weeks was in June. And we passed a bunch of inspections on some of the projects that we were doing. We passed like, 3, 4 inspections per project. I wasn't here. I was not anywhere near Texas. I was in California, taking my kids to the beach, okay, trying to do some boogie boarding and stuff like that. All right. So, but that's because there's a system, and I get it. I've been doing this for a while, and you're like, yeah, Juan, that's cool. Good for you. You've been doing this for a while. Okay, great. And I understand, but the point I'm trying to make, guys, is that you all think that you like constantly have to be there, but it's the system, guys. It's a basic system that should be able to self-subsist. So this is Barbie. Hello, friends. I'm so pleased to share my long and wonderful experiences with my friend. She calls me a philosopher. She's so nice. Barbie's so nice. And guide, my mentor, Juan Crisales. Juan and I met over more than a decade ago, and since then, we have discussed a lot. Even though he's much younger in age, I've always gone to him when I faced a problem, a question, a confusion, or frustration regarding construction, my 3 duplexes, and counting. Juan always came to my rescue, promptly responded, and put me in the right direction. Juan is and always will be my wonderful go-to guy. I'm so lucky to have met him and so proud to have him as my best friend in this real throat cut and competitive real estate investors and constructors world. Barbie, you're so nice. Anyway, just such a nice lady. Mistake number 3, guys. Thinking I can't afford to build something from the ground up. That's the mistake number 3. So here's what that looks like. It looks like you never run numbers. You assume banks won't lend to you. People pass up on vacant lots. I'm telling you, a lot of contractors are passing up on vacant lots right now. They believe flipping or turnkey rentals are actually safer or more accessible. Hard money lenders and short-term lenders are available for new construction. So why people make the mistake is because they're used to traditional financing, not construction loans. It's a little bit different, but they work kind of the same. They've never seen the financing stack broken down. So they believe that out-of-pocket full price, not leverage plus strategy. So the cost of the mistake is you miss out on 6-figure equity plays. I'm going to show it to you guys here in a little bit, so just stick around a little bit longer, please. We're going to be going over the 6-figure equity plays that we can do on these duplexes. Let fear of funding stop them from ever even starting. Continue to pour money into low-yield, overpriced rentals. And if you had to save $5,000 or $10,000 for something important, how long would it take? See, here's the challenge. So you pour money into low yield, overpriced rentals, right? Like I did. I'm not saying that you did anything wrong. Trust me, I've been there. All right. I've got the scars to show it. But here's what I tell people sometimes. It's like, well, I don't know if I can do a program and this, that, and the other. And I get it. But we're willing to go into real estate transactions without really genuinely knowing how much money you're going to make. Possibly even less than like $5,000 or $10,000. But like if you really had to save money for something super important, like maybe it was some sort of a medicine or something like that for your kid, how long would it take you? And if you're going through that cycle of doing just stubborn garbage fix and flips like I was, man, that makes it very difficult. So think about it like this. You're going to go through the money somehow, one way or another. In my opinion, I would have gladly paid $5,000 for someone to teach me the new construction game because the payout is so big. 6-figure equity plays for $5,000. But anyways, we'll get to that later. So When you stop making the mistake, you learn how to finance the land. You learn how to do the build. You learn how to do the hold, just having it financed. You discover that smart leverage reduces it, not increases your risk. It reduces the risk. You stop settling for tiny margins and start building real wealth. So how many of you guys are thinking this right now? Man, Juan, I don't need confidence, dude. I need clarity. I got the confidence. Just show me how to do it. Show me how to find a lot, understand the numbers, talk to the right people, and avoid expensive mistakes. Okay, cool. Let's get into that. So here's my 3-step framework. This 3-step framework I keep using for all the duplexes that I'm building right now from the ground up. It's very, very simple. We have the plan phase, the building phase, and the exit phase. It's really that simple. So let's talk about the planning phase: land, zoning, permits, and funding. So without this, you're building blind. So where's the ideal place to build? Is one of the biggest questions I get all the time, right? This is the number one reason investors don't build, is the fear of the unknown. They don't know the locations and what the inspections are. So what that does is, when you plan correctly, you're going to be avoiding costly delays, reduces in construction costs and utilities, reducing rework from bogus contractors, and maximizes rental demand. So one of the first things we need to do is we have to do location and market demand. We're going to confirm that there's a duplex friendly zoning, and it's actually quite easy to find out. All you have to do is call the permitting office and say, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. What do you guys think? In reality, you're paying for an expensive education when you don't pull permits. I mean, I've been there. I've done that. You think that you're saving money, but in reality, you're paying for an expensive education. The contractor pool who prefer to not be inspected is ripe with mediocrity and dudes who cut corners. But I thought that's the way I was supposed to do it. But the thing is that I was never taught. Looking back on it now, I wish I would have pulled a permit for everything. And I would have avoided double work and mistakes and just being ticketed by the city, just stress and headaches, guys. But no one is teaching it. Second thing, build. Let's talk about job site hiring, successful inspections. I love this quote from Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink is a Navy SEAL, highly decorated Navy SEAL from the Battle of Ramadi in Iraq. And he says, there are no bad teams, there are only bad leaders. No bad teams, only bad leaders. And listen, I love this quote because it reminds me constantly that if there's something that's going wrong with my team, whether it's my team at work, my team at home, my team at whatever thing that I'm doing, I only have to look at myself, because most of the time I'm the one that's leading those teams. And that puts the onus, the responsibility, it puts it on me. A lot of people don't like to hear that. A lot of people want to blame and point the finger and say, "Oh, it's the punter's fault. It's the quarterback's fault. It's the team manager's fault. It's everybody else's fault except their own." But at the end of the day, man, really, there are no bad teams. There are only bad leaders. So what's the ideal build sequence, right? That's another major reason that investors do not build, because they don't know. They don't know what goes first. They don't know what goes second or third or fourth, whatever. A proper building sequence is going to avoid an increase in loan interest because of delays, contractor conflicts, budget overruns, theft, vandalism. I've had both, because I was either too early with material or too late with material. Learning it the hard way, guys. Bumpy workflow, avoids increased labor. Listen, increases major peace of mind if you know the ideal build sequence. And it's a major help to the logistics planning. So why people don't do it? Frankly, there isn't much education out there about this topic. There isn't. Here's my paradigm shift, guys. Look, no one wanted to teach me when I first started. So I went to online, right? I went to videos on YouTube. I went to like any kind of forum I could find. I went to Reddit. I went to everywhere I could think of. And I found a dusty Udemy course. I paid $20 for it. I got $20 worth. It was very vague. It was very just bland. It was like not really. I mean, I watched it, it's $20 worth, but there was nothing. So when I was able to prove that I could build for $100 a square foot consistently, I knew I had achieved a certain level of mastery, and that's why I'm teaching you guys this. Okay, so I knew that there would be other people who would want to also learn. So hiring and inspections, right? Contractors make more when you're clueless. All right. The construction industry seems to thrive on confusion. They do, man. I don't get it, but that's how it used to be for me. We're talking about leading a team. We're not talking about swinging a hammer. Leadership can be learned. Remember, you're the head coach, the contractors of the team, and the building inspectors are the referees. So what's it worth learning? So how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Look, if I have 4 kids, each one of them is going to have their own way of doing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I got one that says, no, you got to take the peanut butter and the jelly and you put it in a bowl and then you got to mix the whole thing. And then you take that and you put that on the bread. That's one way. Another kid is going to say, no, 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 no. You got to toast the bread first. You got to put butter on it first. Then you take one side, you put peanut butter. It's going to be warm, so it's going to melt a little bit. And you put jelly on the other side, put it together, cut it in triangles, and that's how you make a peanut butter. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. Everywhere we go in the United States, there's a different way, a little bit different way to build a house. Why? Because of local building codes and local inspections, little small nuances. But at the end of the day, you get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You get a livable house. Okay? That's the parameter we're working with. In calendar year 2024, last year, the big dudes, D.R. Horton and Lennar Corp, built and sold. Guess how many units or houses? Guess. A staggering 163,087 houses in the United States. That's a lot. So if the median home price in the United States was 419,000, how much gross do you guys think they made? How much? How much? Let's see. $68.6 billion in gross revenue. That is insane. And I'm being super energetic about this because it just should blow your mind at how much money is in the new construction business. But you're like, okay, Juan, yeah, that's cool. That's all great. That's gross, right? You still got to pay title closing fees and you got to pay the real estate agents and you got to pay surveys and you got to blah, 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 blah. You got to pay a bunch of people, right? Okay. So what did they report? They reported, because they're publicly traded, or public companies, I should say, 25% is what they reported net. So what is it worth learning? New construction to the 2 biggest home builders in the United States, it's worth $17.2 billion. That's a lot. So the last one here is going to be the exit. Rent it, sell it, whatever you want to do. Wealth is built one asset at a time. So here's the importance of the exit, right? Structuring the financing. Listing it for sale, listing it for lease before the certificate of occupancy. That's what COO, the Q or CO, however you want to refer, however your company or your local jurisdiction refers to it, okay? We don't like to lease before we sell if we're going to be selling. We do like to lease if we know we're going to keep it before the COO, the certificate of occupancy. Okay. So that's, we'll talk about that. I would not sell leased up because I think, some landlords, they want to select, they think that they're better at selecting their own tenants, which is cool, right? Totally fine. Stabilized asset means a 30-year fixed rate. Debt service coverage ratio loan. We can talk more about that. A Fannie Freddie Mac loan with 20% equity built in. Locking in predictable cash flow is what we're trying to accomplish. And selling outright gives you a lump sum. Okay. It optimizes for taxes, returns, or lifestyle, however you want to do. So I'm going to give you a quick example here. Okay. This is going to be from the consumer's perspective. Pretend you're the consumer. Okay. This is going to be an exit to sell. So This is a house that's here in the local area in Willis, 77378, $335,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 3 full bathroom, 2246 square foot. It's a good size house on a 6540 square foot lot. It was 147 days on the market, but I think it's because they were building it. So, that doesn't, it's a little bit different, right? Because it's under construction. Single family home with the 2-car garage. Looks nice. Nothing wrong with it. So, a buyer for this project, for this house, would be getting a 6.49 30-year fixed rate with 3.5% down FHA financing. Pretty standard, right? The insurance on a brand new house like this is going to be around $2,000, $6,000 for property taxes, and it's going to be a PITI with the homeowners association because this is in the subdivision called the Moran Ranch. We're looking at about a PITI, that's the mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance of $2,900. The PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, plus the HOA. That's a pretty good sized mortgage payment. Now, let's look at this from the consumer's perspective, all right? Instead of them buying, we'll call Bobby over here bought this single family home. His mortgage is $2,900. He's got a good job. He's, first time home buyer. He's getting an FHA loan. Good for him, getting a, good interest rate. But let's say Sally wants to buy this duplex. Bobby bought a single family home. Sally's going to get a duplex. Paying a little bit higher. She's going to be paying around $396,000. Look at this. This is one of the houses, or one of the duplexes that we built. Okay, 2427 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath each side. So basically it's going to be 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Got a firewall in the middle. Everything got done to code. Everything was done with permits. Everything is above board. For this house, also getting a 6.49 30-year fixed rate. Also getting a 3.5 FHA loan, 3.5% down. Insurance is going to be the same. See? Same insurance, same taxes. But here we don't have any HOA because, we're looking for lots that are not in areas that have homeowners association. So basically, Sally, with this house here, she's going to rent out this right-hand side right here, the white side, for $1,700 a month. That's what she's going to do. She's going to live in one side. She's going to rent out the other one. You know what her mortgage is going to be? Her mortgage is going to be $3,150. Let me back this up. $3,150 is going to be her mortgage, right? Why? Because, it's a little bit more expensive, but everything else is the same. So her mortgage is going to be $3,150, but she's getting rent of $1,700. That means her actual mortgage is going to be $1,450 a month. Now, check this out. Now, if Bobby over here gets moved due to work and he's got to rent this place out, he's only going to get $1,800 maybe for this house. He's going to be negative $1,100 every single month just to keep it. You think Bobby's going to want to do that? He doesn't have any equity. He's got a 3.5 down FHA. You guys get that, right? A 3.5% down. That means 3.5% of the total mortgage price is how much he has to put down. So he owes 97% or 96.5%. But in this scenario here, if Sally gets moved because of work, her mortgage is only $1,450 because one side is $1,700. She rents out the other side for $1,700. She's making money, not losing money. So here's the importance of the exit. Now, we were looking at it from the end consumer's perspective, right? You're the builder. You're building it for somebody else. You're in the position of like, they're the ones who bought it, right? Now we're going to look at it from a different perspective. We're going to be looking at it perspective from as a builder, okay? You're the builder. So let's say the land costs you $30,000. It's going to cost you $100 a square foot, like we talked about earlier. Total all in is going to be $272. Now, where did I get this $242,700 from? From the fact that, let me go back up here, that this particular duplex is 2427 square feet, which is the same one we keep building. So 2427 square feet times $100 a square foot to build is $242,700, right? Plus the cost of the land, You're all in for about $272. That duplex appraised for $399. $164.40 a square foot is not unrealistic to hit these days for new construction. The difference, and this is the big, 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 I cannot make enough emphasis on this. The difference between what it's worth and what it costs you to build plus the cost of the land is $126,300 approximately, give or take a few $1,000s. That's insane. $126,000. So let's say, man, Juan, that's great for you because you know how to do that. That's what you're doing. Okay, I get it. What about me? Okay, I can't find lots for $30,000. Okay, fine. You find a lot for $55,000. And let's say it costs you more to build it because it's your first time and you're still kind of learning it. Okay, cool, I get it. Your total build cost is going to be $307,500. Okay, good. The property is going to appraise for the same, $399. There's no difference there. The difference is still $91,500. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. This isn't fix and flips where you hope you can make some money. This is legitimately, you know you can make some money. And that's what I'm trying to show you guys. So let's say you get a debt service coverage ratio loan. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. You're just going to try to refinance it because you don't want to sell it. You want to keep it, right? Because you want to build wealth. You want to keep that $91,500 as equity on your balance sheet. Yeah, I get it. If you sell it, you have realtor commissions and closing costs and all this other stuff. I get that. Like, I'm not trying to nitpick on that, okay? But here's the way the bank looks at it. They want you to have at least 20% equity, right? That means it's going to be an 80% loan to value loan maximum. So the bank says, you know what? We're willing to lend you $319,200. Like, wait a minute. You're willing to lend me $319,200 because it appraised for $399? The bank's like, yeah, sure. But it only cost me $307. So you're going to lend me more than what it actually cost me to build? Yeah. So can I roll in my closing costs into that? Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. And even if, I get a DSCR loan where I'm paying more interest, which is normally about 1% more than a traditional mortgage. Yeah. So my PITI is going to be $2,950. Yeah, about. And if you can rent these out, it's still going to cash flow. The difference here is still $91,500. I get it. There's some closing costs in there, refinance and points and all the appraisal fees and so on and so forth. I understand that. But it's such a big gap, guys, than what we were doing before with fix and flips. That's the point. So look, if you take one thing away from this presentation, I want you to know that you can build a new duplex ground up, even if you've never built before. All you need is someone willing to teach you. So look, I developed this framework, right? A system I'm calling the Duplex Built to Rent system. And I've outlined that framework for you guys here today. So the big question is, how can you apply this framework to help you build repeatable paydays or keep adding duplexes to your rental portfolio? How? So path one, you do nothing with what you learned today, right? From this point on, you got those three choices. And first choice is going to be one. You don't do anything. All right, cool. Path number two, and because I think that you've been here on this video for long enough, I think that you are probably, one of these paths, 2 or 3. You're going to take what you learn and you're going to try to do everything on your own. But here's what happens when you try to take path number 2. The DIY approach is going to be right here. Architect, plan review errors. It's going to cost you $5,000 to $8,000. Overpaying contractors is going to cost you $10,000 to $25,000. The way it happened to me when I first started. Learning via trial and error is going to take you months and years. Holding costs from delays, $5,000 to $8,000. Lack of clarity is going to cost you time and sanity. Total DIY cost is going to be anywhere between $20,000 to $40,000. Taking path number 2. So it's slow. SLOW, slow. Path number 3, you leverage my experience and let me walk you through every step of the way. And if you take path number 3, you can fast track your results with my step-by-step duplex build to rent system. Here's one, here's another one that we're building or already built. This one's already been built and refinanced. So listen, guys, down below, I'm going to put somewhere on the page a Calendly link where you guys can just basically just set up a quick 30-minute phone call with me to talk over some things, see if maybe something that would work for you. There's no commitment. I'm not a pressure salesman. I don't like that kind of stuff. Maybe our goals will align and you'll want to do it. So let me give you a quick bird's eye view of what you'll be learning each week in the program, okay? We're going to go over module 1, which is going to be site selection, zoning, and compliance. Location and market demand, all right? We have to look that information up. We're looking for strong rental demand. We're looking for long-term growth for the duplex. Zoning, regulations, and permitting to confirm a duplex-friendly zoning, securing permit and approvals efficiently. Having site feasibility and infrastructure to make sure you can get 2 water taps, 2 sewer taps, and 2 electric meters. Verifying land clearing requirements and access to utilities, water and electric. In module number 2, still in the planning phase, we'll be talking about duplex-specific construction pitfalls to avoid. Fire-rated walls. We're going to be talking about the party wall, the wall that goes right down the middle that splits it, where they go, what they are, how they're built. We'll be talking about the duplex MEPs, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, the layout, designing for efficiency and cost savings, standalone systems and individual meters. We'll talk about all that. We'll talk about zoning setbacks and permitting to verify that the location where your structure will go, boundary forms, boundary surveys, form surveys, final surveys. We'll talk about all that stuff. In module number 3, we're going to talk about hands-on owner and builder involvement for maximum profits, right? You can save tens of thousands in general contractor fees if you have a plan. Therefore, it's going to increase your profits. Imagine going to your general contractor, like let's say you're in a state where you have to have a general contractor's license, but you're the builder owner, and you just show up to the GC with the whole entire set of plans. Everything's already ready to go. He just has to plug and play. Full control. You're going to have full control over your timelines, your budget, your expenses, and inspections, and any corrections that need to be done. I love this quote by Henry James. He says, "Excellence does not require perfection." And I think that a lot of us get stuck in that. We get stuck in like, oh, everything's got to be perfect, everything's got to be perfect, but it doesn't. Being a person of excellence doesn't mean that everything has to be perfect. It's just that everything that we do has to be done in an excellent fashion, right? From a mindset of excellence. So don't be paralyzed. Ask for advice. Make the call. Try to get information from different people that you need to get information from, and then just make a decision. It's that simple. Now we're going into the build phase, module number 4, efficient construction sequencing for faster builds. We'll talk about trade scheduling, coordinating the subcontractors for minimum downtime and maximum workflow. We're going to be talking about material staging and ordering, ensuring material delivery is done to coincide with the laborers. We'll be talking about inspections and permitting flow, aligning construction phases with required inspections to avoid delays. Module number 5 is material sourcing and contractor negotiation. I think this is a big one as well. Talking about bulk and wholesale material purchasing, where it happens, where you're buying framing, siding, window packages, stuff like that, like different ideas and tactics and tips and tricks of stuff that I've done. Direct supplier discount negotiations, cutting out the middlemen in supply and labor distribution. I'm going to talk about this at length, guys, because I think that a lot of us are already using this. We're using people in the industry. Hey, there's nothing wrong with them, okay? I'm not saying that they should be taken out back and beat or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to be able to identify contractors who are simply just middlemen. They're middlemen for supply and distribution. And I'll be completely honest with you, I've cut them out. I'm always looking to cut out people that are just middlemen. Why? Because I can probably manage it better than they can. And I know I can probably get a little bit better deal on materials than they can. Okay, so it's a big, legit part of the new construction game. Contractor price structuring and bid comparison, how that whole thing works, getting the best labor rates without sacrificing quality, looking for experts in the respective fields. Module number 6, we'll be talking about smart design for maximum ROI and tenant appeal. We're talking about efficient floor plans, maximizing livable space outside also while keeping construction costs low. We'll be talking about durable, low maintenance materials, reducing long-term maintenance and repair costs. We'll be talking about tenant-friendly features and amenities, adding desirable upgrades that increase rental value and keep tenants long-term. Now we're going into step number 3, which is the exit, module number 7. We'll be addressing list and sell or rent and refinance the asset, right? What are the key differences between doing either one of those? Preparing for the sale, right? To stage or not to stage is always a big question, right? Should I spend the money on it? Whatever. Getting the paperwork together, right? Because you have to do warranty items to provide as a builder, so on and so forth. Those things are important. We'll talk about preparing for the lease, property management basics, how DSCR works, DSCR loans work. That stands for debt service coverage ratio. Debt service coverage ratio loans, how those work. The lender docs are needed, appraisals, and stabilizing for long-term debt. Listen, guys, if you guys join up, I'm going to include standard set of duplex plans. I'm going to give you guys a free set of my killer efficient, I call it my killer efficient single-story side-by-side duplex plan, which is this one on the top right. Easy to build, easy to follow along, as this is the basis for the majority of the education. I don't know why that's misspelled there. All of it is transferable, but you're highly encouraged to begin with a simple layout just like this one, okay? It's going to give you the confidence. Having a plan is going to give you the confidence to talk to lenders and talk to builders and talk to people, talk to architects, all right? I'm going to also include a corner set of plans because, listen, building on a corner lot is slightly different. Okay, it's a basic single-story duplex plan you can also rip off. It gives you an alternative you can deploy with minimal time wasted in error and corrections with an architect. There's a certain uniqueness about corner lots that no one ever explained to me until I did my very first one. And listen, I'm also going to include a 2-story set of duplex plans. Okay, side-by-side duplex plans. It comes with high ceilings, spacious kitchen design, large rooms, plenty of closet storage. Another alternative depending on what your market needs might be. I get it. Some places the market requires or demands larger sized homes like this. It's just another option, okay? Here are the hidden costs of not taking action. I'm going to talk on this here just briefly. Just hear me out. If I can get just a few more minutes of your time. Time wasted researching forums, YouTube videos, bad advice. Listen, I've spent tons of times on Bigger Pockets, tons of times on the National Association of Realtors, money, time, videos on YouTube, lots of stuff. Energy spent questioning your every move is another hidden cost. Frustration from having no blueprint, no support. Missed opportunities. Every month you wait, you lose cash flow potential. And the potential of getting it wrong and wasting tens of thousands on failed build on a failed build, man. That's a big one. That is a big one. So I'm going to show you something. I'm in the Houston market. You guys know that. And I blacked out a bunch of stuff here because I don't want to put people's personal business out there. Like, my heart goes out to this guy. I'm telling you. It goes out because I can just feel the pain that this guy's going through. So I got this deal, right? I'm part of email blasts that come through from a bunch of wholesalers, right? Because I'm always looking for vacant lots. And sometimes wholesalers will send houses as well. So, you get both. It doesn't matter. So look at this. Houston new construction, 50% finished. That's what they're claiming. Okay. Cash price, $300,000. Okay. After repair value, 500 to 540. Oh, wow. You're telling me there's a $200,000 to $240,000 difference in the purchase price and what it could sell for? Okay, cool. I'm interested. 6-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3,660 square feet. Okay, looks like it's a duplex that is 1,830 square foot each side. 2021 build. Again, this is in 2025, guys. So you guys get it? Like, this person, poor dude or girl, whoever it is, started building in 2021. Standard size lot there, nothing crazy. The rent's $2,000, $2,600 each side, which is pretty standard for the Houston market. When I gave you the $1,700 earlier, that's for the Willis market. But listen, rehab estimates $100,000 to $120,000 to finish. I looked into this deal quite heavily, and it's about 100 to finish per side. But that's beside the point. Needs interior finish, needs cabinets and air conditioning. There's some more pics, some comps here that they're talking about. Let me move myself out of the way. Basically, they're saying here that this one 2024 build sold for 519. This 2025 build pending at 565. It's vacant. You can call or text for showing, so on and so forth. Memorandum of context. You can't steal this deal. And here we go. More stuff on the same deal. Got another comp here pending at 565. Cool. Vacant. Text call. And look at this. It's actually a pretty decent duplex. I mean, it's got a one-car garage, nice garage doors with the glass on there, plenty of windows, nice little porch area. The driveways haven't been put in. It looks like there's no insulation. This looks like a lot of just framing stuff, man. Listen, you can go at this alone like this poor dude did, man. What I can't imagine is the unbelievable amount of stress that this person is going through right now. And my heart goes out to them. You have to explain yourself to the lender. You have to explain yourself to someone that might even be a personal private lender and be like, I messed up. I've spent a lot of money. Some contractors didn't work out for me. And now I'm stuck and I got to get rid of it. And they're trying to sell it for $300,000. And I don't think they were able to. So listen. I teach practical application from the trenches of new construction day in and day out. And this is a bunch of videos that I've made, and you can look them all up on YouTube there of stuff that I've done documenting the journey of new construction, and I keep continuing to do so. So let's talk risk, guys. What is almost everyone's biggest fear, the biggest fear everyone has, right? What's the risk? That's right. The risk is losing money. Everybody's always afraid of losing money. I get it. Listen, I know that this is going to be insane for some of you guys, and you guys are like, man, I want to make this ridiculously simple for you guys. If you guys join up, get on a phone call with me, you think, you know what, I'm going to try this out. I want to try to work it out, see if this is something I'm able to do. You go into the education platform, you learn the stuff, and you start implementing it. And if you do this for 60 days straight, just send me a Google document. Show me, hey, this is what I'm going to do this morning. And then at the end of the day, this is what I did for 60 days straight. I guarantee you're going to make some progress. But even if you do that and you send it to me and you still don't make any progress, I will double your money back. That's not just a refund, guys. That's me paying you to just try this new construction game. That's how confident I am in it. So what's the only real risk? The only real risk is doing nothing. Are you suspicious? Yeah, you should be skeptical. Don't blindly believe anybody, okay? I'd be worried if you did. This isn't some get-rich-quick funnel thing, I promise you that. This is real estate. Believe just enough to try it. Kick the tires, test the system. If it doesn't feel like the smartest decision you made this year, I'll give you your money back. No hassle, no games. I don't want to deal with that stuff, guys. I really don't. So look, what's out there right now lurking and waiting is flipping headaches, hoping that you can make a profit. Overpriced wholesale deals. That's what's waiting out there right now. Fighting other investors for deals on the MLS, like that $68,000 house I saw this week. I'm telling you, I know for a fact there's going to be a ton of investors fighting over that deal. Overpriced rentals in mediocre markets. Busted houses that need so much work, you may as well be doing new construction. Coaching programs that teach theory and not execution. It's just too much. It's confusion. Look, guys, this isn't hype. It's a blueprint. It's a weapon, a shortcut. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be smooth sailing. Anyone that tells you building wealth comes easy, just run. Because that's not what I'm telling you. But I want you to bulldoze through those obstacles as we go step by step. So why now, Juan? Why the urgency? That's another big question I get. Because look, we're in a window of opportunity right now, okay? Business applications average to 430,000 applications per month in 2024. That's 50% rise compared to 2019. 69% of small business owners remain optimistic about their financial trajectory in 2025. 78% want to expand in 2025. Goldman Sachs said that. Tariffs, big tariffs, right? Material costs will continue to increase. Do you think builders are going to absorb the increased cost? Absolutely not. the end consumer is going to always end up getting stuck footing that bill, man. And it's rough. Look, the small builder boom window is here right now. It's a once in a generation opportunity for builders, small builders, right now. In 5 years, guys, I'm telling you right now, action takers will look smart and the rest are going to get priced out. I don't know what the future holds for real estate. I don't know what the future holds for mortgages. But I do know that this works really, really, really well right now. And I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to keep teaching it. So here's everything I'm going to give you guys so you can start. But you're the one who needs to make the choice, right? This is all the stuff we're going to be going over. It's pretty cool and exciting. I think it's cool and exciting because this is something I wish I had when I first started new construction. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I know we sometimes dream of like what we could potentially do, guys, but it all lies as dreams if we don't take any action. And that's what I want you to do. So action beats anxiety. Progress beats perfection. So here's I love this quote. This is something that someone told me recently, that we get stressed out not because we have a bunch of stuff to do, but we get stressed out when we don't do the stuff that we know we should be doing. That's what stresses us out. And sometimes we just need someone that says, hey man, get on it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's take some action. Because that action is going to beat the anxiety. And the progress definitely beats perfection. We're not saying it has to be perfect. So guys, that's the end of the class. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Duplex Build to Rent system I've put together for you guys. Let's hop on a call. Love to hear from you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what you got going on. Tell me what your goals and aspirations are. I am all ears and I'm happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.